You-
Go to RPAN.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jake, and this is my partner Kyle, and this is the Biz Wiz
Good
podcast or
morning.
discussion or Reddit stream session. We're glad to have you here, and we are wondering if you have any questions or topics that you might want to discuss in the business, entrepreneur, startup, fintech, or motivational worlds. And with that, Kyle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So some of you may have seen us before. We have been doing sort of a alpha test of BizWiz. Today is our first go live. We are live on RPAN, as well as LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. My name is Kyle. I'm happy to co-host with Jake. We're here to talk about startup businesses. So what I'd like to do also is invite people to call in. We actually have a live phone line. So Jake, I don't know if what it's looking like over on our pan.
I
Um,
am not doing a second view over on RPM, but I could throw that number up in the chat if you want to read it out to me real quick.
yeah, I do. Okay, there we are. Finding ours. Yeah, here's the number. It's 917
917.
25. Yeah, 917 259 1300. 917 259 1300. And that will.
All right, the number is posted.
Yep. All right, 917 259 1300. And that will get you live on the chat. So
Kyle, how was
today,
your week? What have you been up to this week? What's been happening in the world of startup businesses and franchise? Can you give us a little rundown?
well, frankly, I've been spending more time than I should have on the technical of this. Um,
Do we want to talk
but
about that for a moment? Tell us a little bit about what you've done. What's the journey been like? You've been doing more of the technical stuff than I have.
for streaming, yeah, it's been pretty crazy actually, because I say that I've been trying to boil the ocean a little, because what I want to do is get you and me, and then also have a live call-in number, and then be able to restream that on RPAN, LinkedIn, and YouTube simultaneously. So it's a bit of a challenge, but I think we pulled it off. There's a lot of tubing and plumbing that's going on behind the scenes that I won't bore you with, but and I think there's more to go. But I think this is good enough for a first live show. So it's been really fun to figure all this stuff out, and I'm glad that you're on the journey with.
Absolutely.
Um,
And so we're live on LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time.
that's right. YouTube, LinkedIn, and
Have you done some
RPAN.
YouTube live streaming before?
I have mainly as a test. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
I'm just curious. I know like with RPN, like they promote us, 4 lines down. People can get into RPN, but on YouTube, is there a way that people would come across the YouTube stream unless you've kind of shot it out to people? How does that work?
yeah, we're live on YouTube right now. So now I haven't done any promotion on YouTube. There's only so much time in the day, and I've got a
There's
regular
only
job
so
too.
much time in the day. Well, I'm curious now. So now I've got to go to YouTube and see what their live streaming channels look like and how that comes across. But so we are streaming. This is a big progression. I mean, this is only our third show, and we are now live streaming across the 3 channels. So personally, very excited. I don't know if any of our 13 watchers share my enthusiasm, but we'll find out. But hey, guys, we now have a number for people to call into us. Um, and so if anyone wants to talk about their business, their experiences in business with startups, challenges they face at work, or how they motivate themselves, feel free to give us a call and have a chat. We've never had a caller before. We don't know if it's going to work, but we're interested to find out.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. So, I had some topics like, and maybe I wanted to pick your brain on this a little bit. I know that we had shared something that we wanted to talk about is, um, you know, why would you want to run a business? And general discussion, kind of existential. Why would you want to do this instead of getting a job? What's been in it for you?
I saw a really saw a really deep clip on that subject on Reddit earlier this week, and it was a professor talking to his students and basically saying that inherently, if you're an employee that has a job, you have to be profitable. It was kind of written in the script. If you're an employee for a company, you are there to help someone else make profit.
Yeah.
And that is not always in your best interest. Well, often it's in your best interest. I don't want to say that, but to truly do something for yourself and to truly go after profit, being an entrepreneur and being the owner of a business will give you a distinct advantage than being an employee who has to kind of pay for himself and make some kind of 10 to 15% profit to justify their job. Otherwise, if you had a company that wasn't performing or an employee that wasn't performing, what happens?
Yeah, you get let go. And I think a big metric on that when you're looking at it from an owner perspective is revenue per employee,
Yeah.
when you're thinking about the season. And that makes a lot of sense. I think, early on in my career, I had made a conscious decision to be part of either my company's revenue generation or my clients. We're adding to the top line rather than detracting from. Not everybody gets to do that, but I think that when you think about being in a job that way, it isn't much of a stretch then to extend that idea a little further and think, well, I'm working on generating revenue for my company. Why couldn't I just generate revenue for my own?
Well, particularly, I think in the work ethic in general today is that you have to kind of work 80-hour weeks to get ahead. Um, what you get in
Uh,
return for your hours worth of work today is not what it was 15 and 20 years ago.
Culture
And
of presence. Oh,
yeah, the culture of grind, there it's kind of
mhm.
like kind of glamorized. The culture of grind is a little bit glamorized, but you have to work really hard to eke things out today, and you want to feed your family and have a nice life. And it can
Mm.
present challenges. And so, what do you think, Kyle? What opportunities then does being an entrepreneur, starting up a business, or a fintech, or a franchise, then offer to people?
Well, building on that grind, if you're going to do that kind of work for somebody else, you might as well do it. And that's my opinion, but I think it's a sound one. And so the reasons why I would do it, aside from that, is having control over my life. Um, not having all my eggs in one. I have a job. I feel like that my security is tied up in employer and a meter. It's one big egg and one. I can get laid off, through no fault of my own necessarily. That's kind of scary to me. I think it's a risk a lot of people are willing to face. But when you're running a business, you're running, you got your eggs, multiple eggs. In other words, you don't have one boss anymore. Now the buck stops with you. But you've got all these customers. You have a way to really gain customers, take care of them, hold on to them. Uh, customer is like a boss. They generate some revenue for me. That spreads the risk a little. So it is a risk mitigation strategy, I think.
Working for
Being with
yourself.
family more. Yeah, being with family more, being in control, being out of the corporate world.
I can see both sides though, because sometimes as a business owner, you have to put so much time into making it work. But from my perspective, I think there's a lot of business owners out there that don't always effectively run businesses. A lot of the smaller businesses out there, you've got a great owner. He's a good guy. He's got a team of people that works for him or her. But they don't always watch the numbers well and the accountancy, side of it, the number side of the thing. Um, and I think
Yeah,
that prevents some people from being more successful and from getting that kind of discretionary time to spend with their family and do those fun things.
that's a good point, and that's something that I advise people when they're getting into business. Surround yourself with good professionals. As a business owner, there's a value to your time, and there's high and good use to it. It's probably one of two things. Probably either generating revenue or uh, focusing on building teams, doing your taxes. Don't need to do that. Payroll, contracts, law, doing all of those things. Those bookkeeping, an owner doesn't need to do that, and you don't necessarily have to have a full-time person on there. Things that can be easily contracted out. And I see that good owners that don't want to burn their candle at both ends are bringing those people on board to help them focus on what's important.
I think I've asked you this before, but so what are some of the things that you see in business owners that can differentiate them from someone who runs a business and someone who runs a business really effectively and becomes one of the winners that expands and has a great customer base?
Hmm. Well, that determination, to get up and do the thing that you're supposed to do all the time, and to be optimistic. I think if your life view is glass half full, that really does help a lot. And getting over the fear. I think that we talked about why we get into business. You know, um, and I think that one of the big barriers to actually doing it is fear. I was curious, maybe you could tell me a little bit about like why you decided to get into business instead of continuing in the career that you're in fintech. What was the big
You know,
shift?
um, I come from an equipment finance background, and I was tired of working for. I just got tired of working for other people. Other people let you down. Other people make promises to customers that aren't necessarily true all the time. And I wanted to be better for customers. I wanted to be better for myself. I also saw how sloppily some of these businesses were run, and just thought, I'm sure I could run something a little tighter. And I didn't want to go through life wondering, what if, what if
Hmm.
I'd taken that stab? And I was lucky enough to be in a position, which not everyone is, to go out there and start a business. And I'm still grinding it out at the moment. We are trying to start a fintech company. We've made incredible progress. We've built a team. We've got some partners coming on. We've got a really cool product that I think we'll be able to launch soon. But it's not been easy, and it's not been a quick process. But I'd like to think that there's a better way, particularly
What
in this day and age.
what were so what I'm hearing is that you're really market focused, customer focused, and that drove you to here for that. But what kind of barriers have you been encountering as you get the business started?
You know, um, I think I have a decent marketing, acumen, and I'd actually be really interested to come on here to Reddit if we can get a little following of people who are interested in business. I like to use some tricks on LinkedIn and automation to help reach out to people. Social media, as we're exploring today, is a great way to reach out to people and try to meet new people. But there's a side to my industry that people, how do I say it? The industry's been around for a while, and there's still people that want to do things the tried and true way. I spoke to a big
Yeah,
financial institution earlier in the week, and they still get most of their business in on a fax. And
really.
so there's a really interesting question there. If you build a really great innovation that's easier for people and better for people, will they use it? If people are busy doing their job day in, day out, and they're just used to writing out a piece of paper, and that's what they're comfortable with, and throwing it in a fax machine,
Yeah.
can you win them over to do things in a new way? And that remains to be, an extra existential question for my industry.
Well, and that it sounds like that was what you were trying to do with this whole venture is uh, change the way things are doing it, making it easier for people. And there seems you've dialed into some compelling pain that's out there, right?
Yeah, well, theoretically, it should be a pain if people are faxing things in, and it's taking days to process and days to get people an answer. We believe we can digitize that. We think we can move faster and make things easier and have a nice online application. I think there's some percentage of the world, particularly with how many people are just so used to, we live in this world where everyone's used to everything now.
Yeah.
You order groceries, you expect them to be there within an hour. You order dinner, you expect it to be there within 30 minutes. And so we want to be part of that, of making things easier, making things accessible, and being on your phone. But there's still a tremendous amount of people out there who just like the old way. New things kind of challenge them, and they have suspicions about it. Um, you have to have a really great product and marketing presence you also have to have a real motivation for people to want to do things differently. And that's what I find to be a challenge and really interesting.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that really stimulates me as a business owner is I'm never bored. And when I think about my biggest fears in life, it's being bored. And and I don't know about you, I've had plenty of jobs where it just was a drudgery and I didn't like it, even
Yeah.
though it was well paying. And I got to say, for all the frustrations that I've encountered trying to get this stream set up, I was not bored at all, and it's just intellectually interesting, right? And a new way of marketing as well.
I love Reddit stream. I mean, I couldn't say more positive things about it. Like, where else could you hop on your computer and suddenly live stream out to people? And obviously, we're new at this. We still need to get established. We've got some technical issues to polish over. But I mean, it's such an interesting thing, right? You could just stream out into the internet and have a discussion with random people that are out there.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things, and I know it's kind of hard to see behind me, but there's a feed of our Discord server for BizWiz, which we've set up. And, I think that it might be interesting to, instead of using Zoom for this, that we might use Discord. They have a voice and video chat as well.
Oh, do they have a
And that
video
might,
function on Discord?
absolutely. Yeah. And it's pretty cool.
And you think we could connect that to the Reddit OBS somehow?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's
You know,
something to work
I've really
on.
lucked out with a nicely skilled technical partner.
Yeah. Well,
There's a lot to figure out. Well, so tell me more about Discord. I'm interested in Discord. I'm not on there much. I do see it a lot on Reddit. I feel like Discord couldn't exist without gaming is a big part of it, but Reddit seems to be a big part of it. I don't know how much of the Discord space, is driven by Reddit. There's definitely certain subreddits that seem to have their own Discords. And you said you
yeah.
came about Discord via gaming.
Oh,
So
well, yeah, it was some years ago. Um, my son and his friends were gaming, and they invited me to hang out with them. And it was kind of, they were early teens, kind of on the tail end of dad being cool stage.
yeah,
So I'm like, I'm gonna milk this for all it's worth,
for
right?
all it's worth, to do some gaming with the kids.
Well, yeah, well, they ended up just being spawn campers, and they turned me into like a digital punching bag for
So
Counter
they can get
Strike.
their points up.
Yeah, basically, they're just picking on old dad. I was
You're
the
a good
stray
dad.
pigeon.
You're a good dad, Kyle.
But we were using Discord for a chat, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. And I think Discord started in 2015, so this was like 2016. And then I noticed that Reddit has a lot of communities, like the startups community. I'm a mentor over there in the franchising realm, uh, and there's
Oh,
a
on the
lot of
Reddit
communities.
startup subreddit.
Yeah, on the startup subreddit on there, they have a Discord server that's actually pretty active and pretty
Are
cool.
you're formally a mentor over there, or you just jump in and try to
Yeah,
mentor people that make comments?
they have a role called mentors, and so people can call on me if they have questions about franchising in the startup subreddit.
Oh, really?
They're very organized in that sub,
Huh.
unlike a lot of the other ones. But what I've noticed too is that I have some hobbies where we all communicate by Discord, and it's been really effective. I kind of like it. So we created a Discord channel, and why don't I why don't I give it to you so you can post it in our pan? Would that be okay?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll send it to you
Send it in the Zoom chat.
in the Zoom chat. That out. Um,
So tell me
Hold
about
on.
your experience in Discord, though. So you got into it with gaming, but you've mentioned that you've used it to build some communities. Has that been focused on business or drinking beer, or what kind of people have you met over there?
Oh, on Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, that's mainly what I use it for is amateur radio, and that sounds kind of funny, but I'm actually here in a studio. I've got an amateur radio here, right here, and videos on.
So I'm a little confused by that. So you do actual like ham radio, right? But then you're also using Discord as like a radio channel? Or is it two different things or is it one thing?
It's two different things. So, the amateur ham radio is a hobby for me. But we have a community of ham radio operators in the Central Texas area, and we all use Discord to stay in contact. So here's a great example. We play this game. It's called a fox hunt. You put a radio transmitter somewhere in the county, and then I go on Discord and I tell everybody, and there's about 500 people on there. Hey, there's a transmitter somewhere in there, in the county. Go find it. And people, like 10 people, are rolling around all weekend with little direction finders trying to find this thing. It's a game of hide and seek that we play just for fun on weekends.
So
But
it's
we,
a ham radio hide and go seek.
yeah, yeah. But the point being that uh, you can um, you can use Discord to communicate with people like that. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
So, well, I'm
And
fascinated by two things. So one, do you ever go and hide transmitters out there for other people to find, or are you one of the people that goes out and seek them, or neither?
I am the hider.
You're the
So
hider.
yes, I own a fox. Well, it's what we call a fox, and the game is called a fox hunt. And I
And
have a
then
transmitter
people that
that's
find it return it to you?
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Do they
well,
get
what I
prize?
do is what I ask them to do is leave it there. I usually leave it chained somewhere so it doesn't get stolen. Um, but they have to take a picture of themselves, and then they DM me. They direct message me on Discord with the picture and the time that they found it and how long it took them to find it. And then we give out prizes for people that they compete for it.
How big is
So
this thing that you chain down?
it's like the size of an ammo can, but it's on one of those construction signs that are temporary. That's got the little base that allows it to swing. You've seen the orange signs. It's
Yeah.
like a little mast.
And so
Anyway,
Discord works a little bit like a radio. So you could have just a live streaming audio station, which I think Reddit is trying to move to with the Reddit Talk. The Reddit Talk is a cool
yeah,
product. And so you get on Discord and people could just wander by and find your Discord and listen to your station.
yeah, that's right. I mean, they can get on there and chat. So, and Discord integrates really well with OBS and some other things. So what you're seeing right now behind me, off to my this shoulder here, is a rolling live chat from our the Discord BizWiz channel. So if I type something, um, I'm going to go ahead and do that. See, I know it's hard to read, but it showed up on the chat back
Ah, I
there.
see what you're trying to do. Yeah, we'll have to bring that in and make it a little more clear. And when you're
Yes.
over at Discord, because here we're talking about business, or our interest is to talk about business and see if people are interested to talk about business with us. But when you're over on Discord, what kind of stuff do you talk about?
Mainly ham radio.
Yeah.
but but on Discord, what I want is Discord for to be an avenue where we can talk about business. We can talk about
Yeah.
anything you want. But I've got a separate server that I use for ham radio, but we have one here, and the invite I sent you in the chat. If you look that up and put it on the RPAN chat, that is an invitation to join a public Discord server that is just for BizWiz and talking about starting businesses.
Yeah, I posted that up there.
Brilliant. That's cool. So again, it's 917-259-1300 if you want to call in. No callers yet. How we doing on RPAN?
We're
Any
a little low on
viewers?
watchers, but in the past we've gotten up to 18 or 19 people. We really have been at a lower number today. Um, but we have worked out some things technically. I think we need a little practice. I think we need to come with kind of a little bit more of an attention grabbing headline to grab people in. And maybe also having other people come in for an interview would be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, agree. Well, so I think then we'll continue to evolve this thing. But I think the main point here is for anybody out there that has questions about starting a business, and it's not specific to franchising or fintech. I think between the two of us, we're interested in all different types of businesses, and Had a lot of really great questions last week during our beta episode, and
And a few
it really,
jokes. I'm missing the jokes today.
yeah. Well, that's what you get when you're not boosted, right?
Yeah. That boost was phenomenal. We got to get back in that territory. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
Kyle, a couple minutes left. What else would you like to discuss this week? What else is happening? Anything in the news that's grabbing your attention that you would discuss that has to do with business?
Well, I think that I haven't been watching the news too much, quite frankly, but I have been paying attention, not as much as attention as I should, to some of my clients, and it's really interesting, um, watching people's minds evolve around the idea of what they want to do when they want to run a business. And the thing that's interesting that I wanted to point out was people start the process. The journey itself. They start the process thinking they want to do one thing, but once they really find out the facts, um, the minds often change. Uh, so and and so what I encourage people to do is, to don't judge a business by its cover. As normal lay people, we're all um, sort of suspect to being influenced by marketing for businesses themselves. But the consumer-oriented mindset is way different than what it actually takes to be an owner. And if you have the opportunity to ride along with somebody and do that, or talk with somebody that's done it before, it can really change your perspective for the better. And that's what we're here to try to do. So that's what's kind of been on my mind, is just thinking about, hey, how can we help other people?
We're actually I actually was recently invited into to speak at a fintech boot camp. We're doing that free of charge with someone I met on Reddit, as I met you on Reddit, named
Oh
Eugene
yeah.
HP. Eugene is a really great promoter of all things fintech. His website is Awesome Fintech, and I think he's posting in the fintech subreddit information. We're going to present. I think we're already getting some subscribers to it. I don't know what the numbers are going to get up to, but he's got a panel of 5 or 6 people that are just going to get on there and talk about different aspects of fintech. I'm going to talk about my personal experience trying to start a fintech. I see on a lot of the kind of startup and sales subs, people asking all the time, how do I break into SaaS sales? How do I break into fintech? How do people get started in that environment? And this free fintech bootcamp broadcast that's going to be in early March could be a way for people to learn more about that. I would say from the news, for me personally, this week, fintech just considers to be a really hot zone. More than $1.2 billion was invested in fintech last week. We're hoping to catch
No.
that wave. And I just noticed yesterday, I spoke to a fintech founder about 8 or 9 months ago. And I was so pleased that I even was able to get on the phone with him. And his name was Max, and he had a company kind of in a similar space to what I wanted to go into. And he'd
Yeah.
raised like $5 million a couple of years back, and I was like a deer in headlights, just in awe that I was on the phone with this guy, and he was just super kind, gave me like a ton of his time. And I just noticed yesterday that it looks like he's exited his business, and that it's now, I won't say the name of it, but it's now a business by another business, and he doesn't even
Yeah.
have his business listed there. It's kind of under another name, and also by his name, it says he's an investor now. So I haven't
Oh,
talked to him yet, but
interesting.
from reading all those signals, I am assuming that he has exited his business, and I'm fascinated with that. We are on the hunt to build a business that we could exit as well.
Yeah, well, that's good. The harvest, what we call that around here, is one of the most exciting and most lucrative parts of running a business, is getting out of it.
Yeah.
For a good valuation. But yeah, what's the long game for yours? I'm kind of interested in that. Like, where do you? What's your long game for this business?
In the fintech space, I mean, personally, I would love to build a business, and because we're working with so much automation and process and machine learning, I think there's stuff to play with for many years. But to do that right, fintech and machine learning is very expensive. The credit agencies want $100 and $200,000 just to give you data sets with which to train your model. So to
Hmm.
do it right, it's very expensive. And so you need investors and investment. And investors want to see someone who's going to exit a business within 2 to 3 years. They don't want to sink their money into angel investors and people in that kind of fintechy VC space. They want an
Yeah.
investment that's going to get them a return within 2, 3 years. They don't want to invest in something where their money is going to be stuck for 10 years. So there's kind of an expectation that you're building something that's going to scale quickly and get invested in or exit so that they can get their money and head out.
Okay. Um, so is that what you're working on right now? Are you in the raising capital stage?
Yeah, we are. We raised a friends and family round. We're looking to raise money from angel investors. We would like to raise between 500,000 to 1 million. If we speak to angel kind of generalists, we're probably more in a $400,000 or $500,000 range. There's so much money in fintech and people looking for good opportunities that I think we could raise more money if we find the right kind of fintech specific investors. So we are after that at the moment, and I think we have a chance, even though we have a small company and we're still building our product. I think we have a chance to raise that kind of 750 to 1 million in the near term. Um, but I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to learn in this space. I know the product I want to build. I know my space, but dealing with investors, having the right kind of pitch, there's a lot to learn and a lot to do. So see how
Yeah.
that comes
What
out in
an
the next couple
exciting
months.
journey. Well,
It's been fun
we
so far, and it's something I would love to talk about more with you and with our guests over the next coming weeks and months, and we can see what can happen to BizFi and Amplify in that time. Any other big
yes.
plans this week? What are you doing this weekend? You're going camping?
Uh, yes, absolutely. I'm going to be hiking and camping in Paladero State Park, which is the second largest canyon in America. That's in the Texas Panhandle.
Is that after the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, second largest after the Grand Canyon.
Sounds like a
But in
nice
this
place to spend your
canyon,
time.
you actually camp down in the bottom and then climb up to the top rather than vice versa.
Did you is the weather better now? Because you guys went through like a real cold snap.
Uh, well, you did too. And now, short answer, it's not better.
Is it still really cold in there?
It's going to be freezing, but there is no bad weather, only bad clothing. So I think we'll be fine.
In the wrong clothing. All right, Kyle. Well, I've
How
really
about you?
enjoyed our time today. Should we do a sign off, and we'll pick up next week at the same time? We're going to try to do a weekly business oriented show. We would like to have some guests. We're interested to have your feedback both on topics, discussional topics, and questions that we can answer through the what's on the Indian equity markets. I'm not familiar with the Indian equity markets. I guess is that an Indian startup channel? Deep.
I think so.
Yeah, I would assume
we have an angel network that, speaking of Indian equity markets, called TIE in Austin, that was just called the Indus Entrepreneurs, named after the Indus River, South Asia.
India is a huge opportunity for fintech and innovation in general, as is Latin America. A lot of people are focused on trying to do innovation there. There's a few people who have kind of figured out how to work innovation in those spaces. Probably the most famous is the owner of Alibaba, who we've not seen in a couple months because he got a little too big for the space over there.
Oh,
Someone in Malaysia who Malaysia and Nigeria have a lot of really interesting fintechs that are figuring out ways to use phones to get innovation and cash to people that are underbanked, that don't have access to traditional banks and ATMs. And so banking through your cellular phone makes a lot of sense. It's a great way to move money. And there's been a lot of success with that down there.
very cool. Well, I know that there's a lot of folks that have immigrated from those areas to the United States and start angel networks for investing. We have some of those in the Austin area here where I am. Yeah, it represents an exciting opportunity. They're always looking to get pitches for people that have got great ideas. I think, well, you'd mentioned this a minute ago that it might be time to wrap up. I think we've gone past a little more than half an hour, and it's time does fly when we're having fun, huh? Are we having fun yet?
I hope so.
I hope so too. Well, good.
All right, sir. Well, let's do a little sign off. We'll be back next week. We are continuing to work on our technical setup as well as our discussional topics, and appreciate any feedback. Feel free to reach us anytime. You can find us at our Reddit profiles, and hope everyone has an amazing day. And thanks you for your time.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Good to see you, Jake, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys. We have stopped streaming on Reddit.